Hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to show you a little something that I started doing back in April of 2020. That's when I retired. And I thought I wanted to do greeting cards. So I come up with a few unique ones, and this is one of them. I am so relieved, and then to hear that you are doing well, or to hear it's your birthday. It could be anything inside. But I thought that was funny to have an outhouse. So I wanted to do a few of these for the shop. She said I could have a little bit of room on the rack, and I'm going to do this one this week, and I have another one I'm going to show you next week that was an original of mine. So thank you so much for coming to visit. I I hope you get a chance to try one of these, or you can put it into a journal. It doesn't have to be a greeting card. It can go into a journal as a tuck spot or something, on a just a straight piece of paper. So there's various things you can do here. So I took an 8.5 by 11 blue cardstock, and I cut it down to 10 by 7, and then I scored it in half. So that's my card bases. I thought instead of doing the inking, which, back then, boy, was I sketchy. So I decided to just go ahead, and I went through my scrap bin, and I found some greens and stuff that, I might be able to just use for the base, for the ground, or that could be the grass. So anyhow, that's how we're going to start it. I've got several pieces of paper over here, like this, to maybe work with some of the boards or the background all together where it's really wood looking. And then the black, of course, is the back in here. The browns are other shapes. Mostly it's squares and stuff. So it's not that hard of a card to do. So let me set these to the side. I'm going to set this over here so you can see it. And let's see what we're going to get into. First off, let me get my bases out of the way. And I'm going to measure this. I can't remember. This is so long ago. It is a 2 by, what is it? 2 by 5/8, I guess you'd say that is. It's just 1 over a half. All right, so I'm going to go and cut 4 of these because I'm doing 4 cards. Hold on. Okay, I got my 4 little pieces cut. I thought I'd show you where I got this. I love it. It's 5 different colors of wood, and I got it at Hobby Lobby. But I use it quite often for a lot of different things. Let me get that out of the way. All right, so we got our 4 pieces cut here. Next, we want to do our little back piece here, and that is about 1 3/8. What is it with all these eights? 1 3/8 by about 2 5/8. Oh my God. All right, let me cut that. Okay, I went ahead and cut everything up, and I've got the dimensions here. Plus, I'll have these in the description box below. But boy, that was a lot of figure, and I didn't realize it was going to be that much. I had this piece from a travel kit, and it was a big scene of a tree and a road going in the background, and then the sky above. So I'm going to use this for my my grass. And all you have to do is just freehand do like a little swoopy. If you got some scissors, go for it. The scissors will work as well. You're just wanting it to be not flat. Usually it's like raised in the middle or raised up on one end. Oh gosh, some of them I don't think I cut right. They're supposed to be 5 wide, and I did not. Okay, which one's right? This one's right. So we'll cut part of the mountain off. Oh, there we go. And then these were too long as well. Good grief. But yeah, if you have scraps, that is the best way to go. And that's what I did. I used a lot of scraps on what I had before. But all we're needing here is for the um the, the outhouse to sit in the grass. Um Now, we had an outhouse, and I have used one. So, that kind of gives my age a little bit, but, we also had bought an old house. That's the one that has the buckeye tree. It tells us when the sheep rain is hitting. Anyhow, I love that old house. Oh, man. But, yeah, I wasn't a fan of no bathroom. It really didn't have a bathroom. No plumbing to have anything go out. So we had what you call slop jar. So you would take the slop jar and use it in your bathroom. And then you had to haul it out there. It was an experience. Okay, so we're going to work with putting down our pieces. Now, I'll explain that when I get to the end. I'll do 2 at a time because that's about all I can get on my little spread here. We're going to glue down our grass. That goes down first. I like this kind of bluey gray color here. It goes with the background really good. So we're going to put that down. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to do that because that is easy as can be. You're just going to butt it up against your lowest portion here and glue it down. Just like that, and that's all we're going to do. So let me do all those first. Okay, next what we want to do is we're going to try putting a couple of our pieces together. Now I'm going to put a little glue right here, kind of in the center, not all the way out to the edges, because you're going to glue this down to here. And I'm only going up, let's see how much that is. A little over a half of an inch. I guess you could judge it however you feel like doing it. Let's get all those done first, and then I'll show you what I've got to do once that's accomplished. Now, what I'm calling this little piece here is the roof shade, because it's basically the shade part for the roof that would go overhead. And I've got the dimensions for it. It was about 1 1/8 by 2 3/8. That's where I was getting into all of those eighths, and I thought, oh my gosh. Okay, the one thing you want to do here is we're going to come down at an angle, and what you're going to just do is go with this corner, and then meet up with this piece that meets the base. And if you need to, you can probably just turn it out. Yeah, you can see both ways, because it's kind of a hard cut that other way. And that's all we're going to do for that. And it just gives us a little bit of a tilt. So you got an optical illusion. That's all that's going to be. I hope everyone is doing well, having good weather, good food, good friends. I'm filming this on a Sunday, and I'm going to post it on a Sunday. I thought I needed a video today. I don't know. I got a few things I got to get finished for the shop, and might have to do a big old batch of tea dyeing tonight. I'm about out. I was trying to find enough papers to go in my mail build-a-journals, and I'm not too sure I have enough to do another journal. I've got favorites I've saved, but oh, okay. Now, I hate to cover up in pretty little boards there, but this is going to go about right there. It's, what is that? Let me line it up with the base. About 3/4 of an inch up. This is like the opening. Your opening is probably a little bit bigger than this. This is just my artistic license, if you want to call it that. And I wanted those boards to kind of show that's going to be over top of this. Now, if you can get you a bunch of variations and boards and, I mean, colors of browns and stuff, that makes it a lot more interesting. So let me get all of these on here in this spot, and we'll be back. All right, we have that set. Now we're going to work on our boards. They're about 1/4 wide and about 3 3/4 tall. And you need 4 for each one. So I'm just measuring them up and roughly cutting because they don't need to be that exact. I do need to do another strip of them. And I'll tell you, the less exact you are on the width and everything, the better, because it's going to add to the wonkiness of it. I'm telling you, wonky is good in this aspect. So I'm going to go ahead and cut me enough. I have to have 4 for each toilet. And then we'll go from there. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is have a wonky edge on them. You can have a few that's straight, but I like to do some, take out some little, it's like really aged wood. So, you know, you're not going to have a totally perfect board, especially if it's going to be clapping against that edge over the years. I mean, you can do some like a picket fence shape and some that's just a little shy of straight and just little angles. It's really kind of interesting. And as you're cutting them off of the strips, now I got 3 from each 12 by 12 strip, so do the math for me. My brain's not great anymore. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and glue them down, and you're just going to put them just a hair apart, and you want to start just below, and you're going to cover your edge of your opening and go just below your opening and then let it go the rest of the way. And I'll do one here for you, and then we'll do the rest off camera and zip ahead to the next step. And you're just going to leave just a little crack. Now, if you want to go ahead and do your other side first, you can do that to give you a better judgment on how far apart to leave them. Like I'm going to zip over here and do this one that covers this edge. And then I know how much room I need there in the middle. It's better when you have a lot of contrast too. See how I have a really light background there? I had the perfect piece of wood grain paper that is just worked out perfect. All right. So, and then they don't have to be perfectly straight either. You can have them a little wonky, you know. And then we do need a piece that goes over them too. So I have this piece, and I'm going to just roughly cut it out. And it's going to be one of those pieces that holds all the boards together, basically, like that. And I just have to figure out where to cut it. I need to cut it here. And then I need to cut it here. This is the easy way to do it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, perfect is not always necessary, especially when doing things like this. And if you wanted to be creative, you could have put little tiny brads in here to be the nail holes. But, you know, I'm not going to do that for cards because they're going to have to go in and out of an envelope for the purpose I'm going to have them for. All right, so we got that. I don't know if I want to go down further. I'm going to just leave it there. It don't matter. I need to leave room for my half moon. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, let me finish the rest of these and we'll go on to the next step. I was just thinking as I was doing these that, you know, this would make a cute little journal card for your journals. It wouldn't have to be as a tuck or anything. It's go right on in. And now we're going to work on our roof line, and I think I can get exactly 4 out of this scrap that I've got here. So it just needs to be a little bit longer than your shade here, because you're going to cut it at that angle again. So about like that. And if you wanted to make sure you had enough and your piece was long enough, you can go ahead and do it like that. And then we can glue later. I mean, cut later. So I'm going to go ahead and put me a line of glue here. It really doesn't have to be all the way across, does it? It's going to be going right up here. And you don't have to have that big of a shade spot. I actually got a little bit too much there. There we go. That'll work. Got glue everywhere too. Okay, and let's work on the next one. Yeah, I didn't finish my story about the toilet, the outhouse. The poor thing. We had a tornado come through, and it annihilated it. It knocked it right over on its back. the poor thing. So it was not usable after that. So Dad had to end up finally getting us a bathroom, an indoor bathroom. Boy, we didn't know what we were in. Hog heaven after that, after dealing with what we had to. But it makes you really appreciate. I miss Hal. My kitty's meowing. But it really makes you appreciate what you've got nowadays as to what it used to be back then. But we had the best childhood there. We loved it. There was this one patch on the ground of clover, and I swear that clover was full of 4-leaf clovers. And we would lay there and look and look and look for those 4-leaf clovers. We were just all over the place with them. And the thing couldn't have been like 2 by 3 feet. I mean, it was a big patch of clover. This was an old farmyard. So anyhow, I didn't know it then, but my sister, she was always finding them. Always. And it was really hard for me to find any. But Mom tells me the other day that my sister has this ability to be able to pick one out. I mean, they were standing somewhere a few weeks back, and Mom said something about she wished she had a 4-leaf clover. My sister looks down in a clover patch and picks one right out. I said, what? Mom said, yeah. She said her Uncle Guy, Mom's Uncle Guy, was able to do that too. So I don't know if that was like an Irish skill or an Indian skill or what that was. Oh my gosh. Okay. So our next step now, we want to make our door handle and our 2 little pieces to make it look like it's attached. So let me get a little piece of black. I thought I had, no, I must have used it. Well, I can use any scrap. I just pulled this out of the bin, the trash can. We're going to use this little piece of scrap right here because it's nice and dark. That's all we need, because we're just going to cut it about like that. It's a small little rectangle is all it needs to be. Now the door handle is a little different. It's like a square. It actually was not a square back in my day. It was more of a long handle, which we may do it that way now. But it was a long handle, and it was just on a screw right here on the actual background part, and you just twisted it like that. I mean, we were the only ones using it. It was our bathroom, our outhouse, so we didn't have to worry about anybody else coming around to use it. You didn't need much. That was just to hold it closed while we were in it, or so the wind wouldn't catch it and tear it off. Do I have enough of these? 2, 4, 6. Okay, I got enough. Let me save that for my handle. All right, so what we want to do here is we're going to take, and we're probably going to, I'm a right-handed person, so that's the way I remember our outhouse. The door swung out to the right. Now, if you're a lefty and you want to make a left-handled outhouse, you go right ahead. It won't hurt. So, all we have to do is this. I'm going to put it at the top and the bottom and secure it. And we'll do another little thing to it here at the end. Now, the little handle that keeps it shut, let's try this. It was, yep, I guess that would work. So we're just going to do little last touches at the end, but we're going to put that right here like that. And that's how it gets held shut. All right, let me do the other 3. All right, the next step is our chimney. And it's going to be 1 1/8 tall and then 1/2 wide. And then this piece was a scrap. It was a little too wide. It was about 3/4. So I cut that off, and that'll make the perfect topper for the top of our chimney. And it's not really a chimney. I think it was for fresh air. So I'm calling it something it really wasn't. So I'm going to cut it off about right there. I'm going to just eyeball it. You don't have to do exact measurements to what I've given you here. You know, it's all in the detail. It's if you get all the little details on there, it's going to make the picture for you. It's going to draw the picture. You don't have to be right on the money. All right. Now, then we're going to cut our little piece. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and glue that like this. And of course, if you're wonky with it, all to the better. We're going to cut our little piece like that. Stick it on there. And we'll trim it down. It's I don't know why I thought to do this kind of a card. I think what I'm going to do for the inside is instead of putting a sentiment on the actual card itself, I'm going to put options, and I'll have like a little sticky pull-off kind of situation where, you know, they can choose what it's going to be for, because it could be for a birthday, it could be for a get well card, I'm thinking of you card. It could be any of those. It's a well-rounded card. And especially if it's a person that may remember what those things were. All right, I'm going to just trim it off to where it looks like the little brim of a hat. How about that? That's about all you need. I don't need all of it across there, just that little bit. And I did mine at an angle, so let's do this last one at an angle. Yeah, like I said, you want it a little wonky. It don't have to be so straight and matchy-matchy. All right. And we're going through quite a bit of our scraps here, too. That's always a good thing. All right. And when you're applying your chimney, you don't want it straight. You want it at an angle. As with everything else in this scenario. Oh. I think I remember Dad, he used to say that they had newspaper. They didn't have toilet paper back then. That was a luxury. They used newspaper. So, you know, he's able to be out there reading it, and then it became useful. Oh, I remember he was always going to the bathroom with that newspaper. I'm thinking, what in the world is he doing? Oh, gosh. Memories, memories. Okay, so we got all of our roof done. Now our door opening. We're going to put us in a half moon. And I'm going to fold this. I don't know, I liked it because it was a basket weave. It's the last that I've got of it. But I'm going to actually fold it. I don't know if I want this one. Fold it in 4. This little piece was about, yay big, about 2 3/4. And it's about 1 1/4. But it doesn't matter, you know, the size that you want it. Now, there were different phases of the moon, I guess I can say, for this. And I believe they said that a full moon was like for the male, and then a quarter crescent moon was for the female. I guess back in the day they had different outhouses out there for you, like they have those porta potties nowadays. Now, if it was a family one, you know, they're just going to use the same one. And from what I understand, that's mostly the one that's a crescent. So that's why we're going with a crescent. And I'm just going to cut them all for the same shot. And I'm sure you don't need any help on figuring out what a crescent moon looks like. But you want it to be a little chunkier in the middle, and then it tapers off to your ends. And that's how she goes. All right, let me get all that out of the way. All my scissors out of the way, and there's our crescent moon. It's a little sad looking, but let me help the lower end of it here. I think it kind of bunched up on me. There we go. Yeah, I had a picture of my aunt coming out of the outhouse where my grandma lived in her old age, and I got curious about it. They said it was a what was it? A lumber camp shanty, the house that she lived in. So it was it was a lumber camp shanty. So it only had 2 rooms, and then I guess it had the outhouse at the back. And then when they moved in there, I guess they added on, because my dad was there. He was the youngest, so he needed a room. I think all the rest of the kids were gone by then, because everybody else was out, gotten married, and moved away. Most of them went to Baltimore, because that's where the jobs were over on this side of the world. And where I live in Virginia, I know when I go to West Virginia now, everybody goes to Columbus, because that's right up from where they all lived. And most of the families live in Columbus now, and only go home on the weekends or something to visit the family. Okay, I think the only thing we have left to do is a few little minor details. Now, I had some dimensional paint that I used on this one. If you can see in the roof line here, and then on the door handle, I kind of put a little bit of dimensional paint. But I think for drying's sake, we're going to do it this way. All you got to do is get you like a little fine marker or pen, and we're just going to do like little lines. And that gives, you know, enough of an impression. I'm going to put 2 dots here for like nails. And then, like I said, there's one big old nail there in the middle of that one. Now, on your boards, if you've used plain, like I did here, plain brown, you can squiggle through them. Do little squiggles. And that gives you the impression that that's board. I'll hold this up when I get done here. Yeah, I'm not even being neat about it. I'm just kind of squiggling down through there. You can do a big round squiggle somewhere, well, like it's a knot. And also, the one I did over here, I did like a little spider web. So you can kind of come out like that. Oop, My pen's not wanting to write. Like that. Kind of like a fan. And then with a spider web, you do a swoop like that. Like you do a swoop, swoop. And you're connecting them all. And you're doing like a little crescent kind of shape at the same time. This is the way we always did them in school. All right, let me show that to you. Oh, I probably need to give me a nice little thing on my crescent moon there too. Now see, oh, I forgot. I'm always forgetting. I got nails there. It's all in the details. The more little details you add, the more realistic this looks. Now see how that looks? I added the little lines here. I added a little spider web. I added a few little squiggles through the boards, the little nails that are in there. Now if you had a silver pen, oh, that would be primo, because if you had like a silver pen, that's going to look like a little metal nail. I've used that in the past too. Actually, let me go get one to show you. Okay, see what you think about that. That is a silver Pentel's metallic medium gel pen. And you can see I got a little bit of shine to it as well. But and I used it beside the black, so you had the little shadow plus the silver shine. So that's an idea for that. Okay, now let's put it on a card, and then we've got some stamping to do. So all you're going to do is go to the back. You got it all assembled. You don't have to do anything else fancy to it. Just get your glue all over it where you need it to be. And it's going straight down. This base piece is a nice strong piece of cardstock too, so it's going to help keep it adhered. Now I'm going to the right a little bit. Ooh, it's a little tall. Okay, I'm going to the right because I need to do my writing over here. Because I got a dark base here, and I don't think, and maybe I made my chimney too tall. Anyhow, there. Now I did have a little bit of green over here that I thought could make a couple little sprigs of grass. Now if you had something that made grass, all to the better. It's just jiggy-jaggy up and down, and kind of round it off. Let's see how that looks. That's not too bad. It kind of shows that it's actually in the ground. I'm going to actually make it shorter. I don't like that length. Now let's see. Oh yeah, much, much better. That was it. So you can make you one or two, one for each side. It kind of shows that your outhouse has been there for a while, basically. But we'll put that one down for now. You know about the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and show you my stamping. And I have it already out. These are, I can get my cap and my glue. These are from Michael's Recollections. I got them a while back. But it was a whole upper and lowercase set of stamps. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Pigment Ink Onyx Black. It always does a great job. It's a nice deep color. Okay. And I am so relieved. Put that right here. And the relieved. I have to go in units. Now see, it's so long. I think what I might do is make this the inside. I'll do like a dot, dot, dot out from there. And I'm going to go on the inside with this. Because the thing is so long, I can't get it on the front. This is a different letter set than that one. That one was like a little wooden stamp, and you had to just keep going at it. I mean, one at a time. Boy, did it take a while. All right, since I got to do all 4 of these like that, I'm going to go ahead and put this part in the center. That's the only part. If you don't have your proper pieces and parts, it's always hard. You know I'm not going to find a word relieved anywhere. There's no way. I'm not quite sure the way that one turned out, but it'll work. I'll put pen on it. You can always fix this with some pen. It's still not one. I guess maybe I got too much on here. So I'll fix all that with pen afterward. And I've got R-E-L, R-E-L-I-E. And I'm going to match it up to the bottom of my piece there. Okay, where's the V? The V's in here. I wish I had more than one E. All right. Because I need an E again. So, oh, well, that didn't stick very well. Maybe I need to trim it. Some of these I had to get in here and trim all this extra rubber off of it so they would go to each other or be able to be beside each other. There. I-E-V. It's getting there. That's not bad. I guess if you print a little wonky, it's not going to make a difference. All right. Now what's the next letters? Oh, I got a little bit of mess up in there. I'll have to fix that. E-D is next. And where's the D? Right there. I hope I've spelt this correctly. Oh. There we go. Now, I can at least show you the one that's finished. All right. I am so relieved. And then I'll have something else inside here. I've got a little mess up. Maybe I can, sometimes this ink will get on you and you don't realize it, and you put it everywhere else. So you have to watch out for that. I do want to show you a few other little things that I've been working on. So let me grab those. I did some covers for some mail builder journals. So here they are. I have to get my tea-dye papers inside, but other than that, they're done. So I just did a bunch of cogs on here and some pieces that were left over. And I covered the inside with paper bag from fast food. I've been eating out a little lately. And then I made a tag for every one of them for like a, you know, a bookmark. And here's this one. That's a different metal piece. Somebody had given me all these old industrial looking things before, and I'd been using them right and left. This is my favorite, the saw blade. I love the saw blade. And this was a cutout from my specimen pocket or something not long ago. And then in here, since it's a saw blade, I thought, well, I'll do a great big journal card bookmark. That's a piece of wood. Now, it's got a little tuck here if you want to put something there. But I love this one. I love the tones in it. Oh. And then here's this one. And it's just got more of the cogs, and it's got its own little bookmark. So, and then I'll show you my other little projects I've just gotten done with. I've got to sew those together, and then I'll be done with them. Here was a little bookmark that I made, or a large tag, I should say, from master boards I'd been working on over there. And I had this one with blue, and somebody gave me these little cutouts, so I had to do all this fussy cutting. And the little girl sitting doing a picnic. And I used some of these from the other day. I got to use a few more of those up. And here was my altered playing cards I did the other day. These are all those beautiful little Victorian ladies, and they went perfectly on the back side of these cards. There's just a little bit on the top and the bottom, and then I had to trim the sides just a tad, but they were perfect. These were a wallet size I printed out. Now on the back side, this one I did a bunch of little pieces from one of the ephemera packs, but it had Cotillion Party. And you can see the 7 of hearts in there. This one I love. It's a rub-on. And that's all I did to it. It's just a rub-on. But I love that look. And so I did a couple more to use up the rest of my rub-ons. There was a bike on one part of that rub-on. And then here was another one that was beauty is in the ordinary and had joy on it, and a few little sayings. And then here's one that had a butterfly and wish. And April showers bring May flowers. But those were the last little things that I'd been playing with. Thank you very much, all my subscribers and my watchers, for coming to visit. I hope you got a few ideas, and come back and see me again. Bye-bye.